never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer, fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, since today is Sunday, you can go to dafanboys.com, not the, dafanboys.com, and check out all of the podcasts on there that are sports and wrestling related. And today is the Season 2 extravaganza, and each and every one of the podcasters will be doing a show today to celebrate Season number 2 kicking off. It'll start around 11 o'clock Eastern Time this morning, so go to thefanboys.com and you will hear me and my man Jay's podcast that we do called Racing and Wrestling on there sometime today. But since today is Sunday, we get to do something we have not done all year long, and that is talk some college football as far as actual on the field stuff, not predictions, not breaking down, not talking about, not giving thoughts, not giving opinions, but actually talking about what happened on the field, because yesterday was week 0 and we had 10 games altogether, and I guess you could say it was yesterday on into today, because a couple of the games didn't end until after midnight Eastern Time this morning, so they were actually on Sunday morning. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, but first I want to give you the top 10 in the NASCAR world from the Coke Zero Sugar 400 that we had last night, because it wrapped up the regular season. They chose to make Daytona the last race of the regular season because anything can happen there. Chris Buescher, who only had 2 career wins coming into the year, won his 3rd race of the year, followed by his teammate and co-owner of the car, Brad Keselowski. Eric Almirola was 3rd, Chase Elliott 4th, and Joey Logano was 5th. 6 through 10 was Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Kevin Harvick, and Corey LaJoie. And Chase Elliott does not advance to the playoffs, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. The first race of the playoffs, round of 16, will be Sunday, late afternoon, early evening, 6 o'clock Eastern Time on the USA Network from Darlington. It will be the Cookout Southern 500. Martin Truex Jr. won the regular season championship, which gives him extra bonus points for the playoffs starting on Sunday. And now for the college football scores. Notre Dame all over Navy by the score of 42-0. 3. Of course, it was Navy's first game with a new head coach. They had Ken Niumatalolo for seemed like 15 years or so, and they fired him after last season. Mercer defeats North Alabama by the score of 17-7. Jacksonville State over UTEP 17-14. UMass, who is led by former Clemson quarterback Tyson Pumachun, defeats New Mexico State 41-30. It's only the second time in UMass history that they have been 1-0, and that one win came against a Power 5 opponent, because in 1984 they kicked off the season by defeating Boise State. So they've only started out 1-0 two times in their program history by defeating a Power 5 team to start the season. Boise State in 1984 and New Mexico State in 2023. San Diego State defeats Ohio 20-13. Albany over Fordham 34-13. Vanderbilt, in a rematch of last year's Week 0 game, defeats Hawaii 35-28. Jackson State defeated South Carolina State 37-7. Now that's two historical black colleges, and that's why the game was on prime time on ESPN last night. It used to be on a Sunday afternoon at noon, but they decided to have it on Saturday night in prime time to see how it would do. But more than likely, since Jackson State had Deion Sanders as their head coach, this game probably was announced sometime last year so they could put Deion's team on prime time. But of course, he's no longer there. But South Carolina State head coach Buddy Pugh, who's been there since it seems like 1945, announced last week that he was retiring. USC defeated San Jose State 56-28. And the Bulldogs of Louisiana Tech defeated Florida International by the score of 22-17. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. I had a blast last night at Georgia Championship Wrestling in Buckhead, Georgia. We'll talk about that coming up sometime later on this week. For all you wrestling fans out there, don't forget, later on today is AEW's All In. Should be a good pay-per-view. Any early predictions or thoughts on that, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c non-profit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. If towels could tell jokes, I think they'd have a very dry sense of humor. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.